Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the Rumblecast. We're still working things out here. It's the second episode, but we got a very special episode. It's the second half of that Q&A. You guys sent a lot of questions, so we actually had to split it up in 2 parts. And today I got 2 really great Rewind Rumble co-workers. We have Jedi Bender and the TheSSUltimateGoku. If you guys want to introduce yourself, that would be amazing.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the TheSSUltimateGoku, and I'm back here on AnimationRewind's channel. Normally on my channel, but I'm here today for the cast. Also, I do research. I'm partially a voice actor.
And last but definitely not least, we have the amazing Jedi Bender. If you'd like to introduce yourself, that would be great.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Jedi Bender. I'm one of the main researchers for Rewind Rumble and Cartoon Fight Club, but I mostly do Rewind Rumble. And I'm also the co-creator of some of the newer character elements of Rewind Rumble, and I worked on the main course season finale for this season, and I'm very excited to be here with these guys. It's very awesome.
Yeah, this season finale is going to be pretty epic. To not spoil too much about it, but Jedi Bender has put a lot of research into it. He knows both teams very well, and it's in good hands. So I really think we got a lot. If you guys want to touch on it, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Jedi did a lot of really good work on it. We won't get too much into it, but it's heroes and heroes going at it, and it's gonna be really good. I tell you that right now. It is really good, and Jedi did a lot of the work, as well as I helped them out with some stuff too. But it's really good, and trust me, it's gonna be worth it. But worth it. But Jedi, you can touch on a little bit more of that too.
Yeah, both these guys are right. It was kind of it was a big episode, and it's my first time doing 2 team battles, and I really had a lot of fun researching and going into it and just trying to figure out on who has the better advantages, disadvantages, and overall, who will remain the victor. And it's just very great, and it is somewhat of my expertise, so I was very happy to give some of that as well. And yeah, I can't wait for this either. I think you guys are going to be really surprised, and you guys are going to love what we've packed into this. And that's definitely going to be worth the wait.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. This was originally going to be part of the regular one, but it's now been retconned into the season finale because it was that good of a concept that we've been wanting to do for a couple of years. But because it got delayed a lot, and now we're actually going to put it in the main course series as a season finale. So it's a really good process, and it's going to be really well worth it when it comes out.
Yeah, and definitely since we kind of already told this part of it, it is going to be a Total War, and as you guys all know with Total Wars, they do get delayed a lot, but we really want to make sure that this doesn't end up as a fight compilation, because a lot of Total Wars sometimes end up like that, and we really want to try to make in the future Total Wars go along the lines of Smash Ultimate versus Jump Force, where there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and if characters are out of the game, then they're out. It's not like a compilation, so we do got a lot in store for that. And if you guys want to jump right into the Q&A, I could start dishing out some questions. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Alrighty. Let's see what's left in the box here. We might overlap too, but we could give our own takes on some of these questions. We have a question from Mario Bomb 20. What do you guys think is the worst Rewind Rumble at the moment? Who wants to answer this one first?
I guess I will.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, the worst one, in my opinion, is our Ruby versus Deku fight. Not because of the analysis. I feel like me and TheSSUltimateGoku, I feel like we did a great job on that analysis-wise, and we really showed off our chops. Me especially, because that was my first time on a Rewind Rumble, but we did not like the animation and how it came together, and we really wish we could have been better, but we gave it what we got.
Yeah, in terms of the worst for Rewind Rumble, I mean, I think it's tough to say because I think overall a lot of the animation qualities were always good for Rewind Rumble. I know for Cartoon Fight Club the worst would be that Dora versus Goku one.
Of course you would pick that.
Dora versus Goku one would be the worst, but Rewind Rumble, no, I don't know. I mean, I would have to agree with somewhat with Jedi about the Ruby versus Deku one. I think could have been a lot better with the direction. But most of them that I was involved with, I thought were pretty good overall.
Same here.
Yeah, and no offense to any of the animators, they're all really talented, and you know.
No.
Yeah. But my least favorite is actually the one that I animated, which was Batman vs. Tuxedo Mask. And I actually think the research on that was pretty well done, and the analysis was pretty good. But the animation, I think that is the longest one-on-one in terms of Rewind Rumbles that I did. I did some Total War scenes, like the Mario vs. Sonic 8-on-8 scene. But yeah, it was a pretty weak animation that I put together. So my pick would be Batman vs. Tuxedo Mask. But
that's also extinguishing it too, is like, which one do we define as the worst? Do we define it as the worst based on the animation, or are we doing it based on the research or the exterior? So there's a couple different aspects too. Because personally, I think that fight was well done. Just the obviously you talked about the animation, but in terms of the way it went around, like in terms of the aesthetics and whatnot, I thought it was well put in for like the research and all that and whatnot.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that was it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely a dynamic. Like sometimes the animation is great, but the research is off. Sometimes the research is off, but the animation is amazing. And we could appreciate the multifacets of each episode. And hey, that's what rematches are for. If we make a mistake, we redo the episode and try to put up a different circumstance. And
Absolutely.
speaking of Cartoon Fight Club, the next question actually comes from, I just had it. Oh yeah, from Robot98. Which episode of Cartoon Fight Club you think is the worst? TGF, you kind of already answered that, but we'll give it to you first since you touched on it.
Yeah. In my opinion, it was the worst. I mean, I didn't like it at all. Goku definitely.
Like it because Goku lost.
My least favorite is Boba Fett versus Samus, and that's because it's not even a fight. I tried to do like a race thing, and Death Race pulls off their race battles really well, and I felt like when I did that thing like so many years ago, I did not have a good direction with it, and it was like I tested it out, tried something different, but obviously it didn't work out. So my least favorite is definitely Boba Fett versus Samus.
Yeah, that would have been good if that would have been like its own thing rather than like a fight element to it, like it had race like themed, rather than it being a fight. I think that's where it was flawed at the time.
My least favorite, or what I consider the worst Cartoon Fight Club, for animation wise, is definitely Star Butterfly versus Steven Universe. I feel like me and AR, we really defined what Star is as a combatant, and we did a great job with Steven with the information we had at the time. But our old animator, unfortunately, who animated that episode, I feel like he could have made it a lot better because the quality was more in the research than it was in the animation. And I feel like, that should have been the complete opposite. I feel like we should have nailed both of those things, but I'll take what I can get. But I really think that, the animation for that was not worth it didn't live up to the hype that we created for it.
A lot of times, a lot of episodes, they start off well in draft, and then bringing them to life, we run into a lot of animation situations, especially if sprite sheets are limited. Because I know that Star Butterfly sprite sheet, it had a Mugen, or Mugen, however you pronounce it. It had a Mugen sprite, or Mugen sprite, and they were really limited, and they're really hard to work with. And then some characters have so many sprite resources, like I think Sonic has so many different variations. So it all depends on how we decide to animate an episode too. Like some fights are better looking in 3D, some are better looking hand-drawn. Although I think we only have one hand-drawn episode, and that's Axe Cop versus Bobobo. But
yes.
Yeah, and that is actually one of my favorite episodes. It's really good. I mean,
it is very good. I think it's up there. It's in my top 3 because again it stands out from all of the rest of the Cartoon Fight Club episodes, and it kind of makes me want to see Axe Cop come back, but it also makes me want to see us, dabble in some 2D hand-drawn animation in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
no, that would be awesome to do like the hand draw type stuff, because it's kind of similar to what 1 Minute Melee did with that Terra fight that they were doing. Stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, we've been talking about our least favorite episodes, but we got a question asking the opposite from Balaz Docs. Which episode of Rewind Rumble is your favorite? Who wants to answer this first?
Richard, do you want to answer that one first?
Yeah, sure. Oh man, I always like the episodes that get the most controversy. I don't know why, but I think the best episode of Rewind Rumble so far is Reverse Flash versus Goku Black. I feel like we did a great job covering that, research-wise and also animation-wise, because of just how well we went deep into how could Reverse Flash beat Goku Black. And there was a lot of, and we didn't just do, oh, well, this character wins because of that. No, we actually got neck deep into the scientific elements of it, and we had a great time exploring how this popular DC villain could be the most popular Dragon Ball supervillain at the time. And I feel like, there was just so much effort and passion put into it, and I'm very happy that we were able to knock it out of the park, even if we did receive some controversy. But that's probably my personal favorite episode. The second one that comes in after that, I don't know about AR, but it's definitely Rick versus Bill Cipher. Like, holy crap. Like, that animation, that was great. That's probably one of my favorite 3D fights of Rewind Rumble.
Those are two awesome picks. It's like picking your favorite child, so I always have a different answer every time.
Yeah.
I always have a different answer every time I get asked this, because it's like, who's your favorite kid? And it's like, But one of my all-time favorites is Punisher versus Red Hood in terms of one-on-ones. I think the animation on that is really good because there's a lot of custom work into that, and it's got a good plot to it too. It's not like they just randomly start fighting for no reason. So, yeah, there's a lot of good build-up, and even the ending is quite exciting because there's I don't want to spoil too much for those who haven't watched it, even though it's about a year old, but there's a crowbar scene in there. So if anyone knows the Red Hood story, using a crowbar against him in a fight is pretty iconic, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one that probably is going to surprise you guys the most is the one that I really like the most. And there's other ones too, but the one I really like, and it was one that I really worked more with Rewind Rumble on, and that was Jimmy Neutron versus Dexter. I really liked that one. I was really involved with a lot of that. I just love the ending too. It was so funny on it. Especially that effect at the end there. It looked like maybe Jimmy was gonna move out of the way or something, and then I think, no, you're dead. And then the thing with Animation Rewind did the whole thing where it's like you were disqualified. I thought that was so hilarious. It added extra to it, and I really loved the whole animation and the way it was researched, and just the whole thing about it. There was a couple others. I mean, obviously the Team Naruto versus Team Avatar one was pretty good, and then of course obviously 18 versus Starfire was pretty good as well. But that one, the sequence was just really, really cool, and I really loved that one, even though that wasn't really necessarily Dragon Ball one. It was just a really fun one to do. It was an unusual one, and and it was one I really liked because I like Jimmy Neutron and Dexter's Laboratory, despite everyone just thinking that I just like Dragon Ball or anime. I like a lot of cartoons too.
Yeah, that one had some great voice acting from Katie Conide, and obviously Juan is an amazing animator, and I do agree that that's another really good episode. And to move on, we got a question from Marco Valdez. Apologies if I pronounce that wrong. Have you ever considered to redo an episode of Rewind Rumble? So in other words, is there an episode you think in the future that we could not necessarily have a rematch, but just totally redo from start to finish?
I mean, we kind of do that anyways from doing redos from Cartoon Fight Club to the regular Rewind Rumble episode. Anyone doesn't know, that's what it is, Appetizer series, but I just call them regular episodes. For the regular Rewind Rumble series, it's just basically like a lot of the stuff we kind of do is kind of similar to what we do with Cartoon Fight Club. It's just the animation quality is supposed to be better, really. But in terms of the research, it's pretty much the same, really, for the most part. And then it's just, you know, a matter of getting the person that's supposed to win. And we pretty much kind of do that, really, with some of, you know, I think we redid the Naruto and Goku fight, I think, from Cartoon Fight Club from years ago on Rewind Rumble. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that was a remaster that was started on CFC. Yeah. It actually got remastered twice, which I think is interesting. The third remaster is on Rewind Rumble, and I do agree for the most part that that's kind of what the rematches are reserved for, where we don't usually like to remaster stuff, but sometimes we do, obviously. But we usually
we do like rematches like with different like versions, like right. You know, if we did, you know, because like on Cartoon Fight Club we did Goku versus Superman. We did 3 different ones, and we did 2 episodes in one, and then we did we did specifically New 52 versus Goku during Super. But before that, we did Post Crisis versus Goku, and then we did also in that same episode we did Pre Crisis versus Goku as well too. So that's kind of how we kind of did the format, really. Even back then, really was like just rematches with just different versions, or you know, more power ups or something like that.
Yeah, right on. One I would like to see redone. Oh man, I feel like, okay, just animation wise, if I had to pick, I would definitely have to say Kratos versus Dante. I feel like just animation wise it was good, but I'm a sucker. But I've actually been replaying the Fourth God of War recently, and I just feel like, man, this would have been an awesome 3D fight, especially if we were able to use the newest 3D model for Dante. I feel like if we were to get just Zeno or El Cheetahman to do it, I feel like that would just be awesome. It would be a great little short spectacle, and just seeing these two badasses go at it. But other than that, I can't really think of any Rewind Rumble match that I would like to see redone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely agree, and I can totally see Dante versus Kratos being an epic 3D fight. It was a great sprite animation, but those characters, you kind of memorize them as 3D type characters, you know? So yeah, I totally agree with that. There's just some certain characters that you would prefer to see in a sprite animation, like maybe a Mega Man battle, and some characters.
Oh yeah.
It all just depends on the incarnation or the series, so I definitely agree with you on that one.
I also would like to add, while we're looking for these questions, that another main course episode is coming up soon too, that I'm also heavily working on too. We can't get in really details of it, but all I can say is it's a butt kicker versus an authority figure. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, that's a good hint. All right, I have a question from Mr. Penguin Do, and he asks, what is one thing you think you need to improve on? And for me, I think it would be organizing Total Wars, which I think we've come a long way on, and even free-for-alls too, for that matter. But for a lot of the older Total Wars, they start off really well in concept, but then the final product just ends up as a fight compilation where we'll have so many people do 30-second scenes, but and this is all on me, because we'll have even repeat characters, like characters randomly come back to life and fight in another round. So one thing that we've been trying to work on is making sure that these Total Wars have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and if a character eventually dies out, that's it, unless they have some sort of revival ability or like a one-up ability. But I don't think that's actually happened in a plot so far in terms of Rewind Rumble Total Wars. But except for maybe Tails, but he cloned himself in the Mario vs. Sonic 2. But that's one thing I think we need to improve on. If you guys have your own inputs, feel free to answer that question.
Really, what I think we just need to keep improving on is our research, our animation, and our schedule. But trust me, guys, we've been putting a lot of effort and work into pretty much revising how we get things done. We do realize, that these take a while, and by the time they come out, you're like, oh my god, they're out of nowhere. There's a new Rewind Rumble. It's like, we may be a large group, but we don't have the resources to take something and just put it out within a 2-week schedule. It's like we like to take our time. We very much just want to keep making sure that everything gets better. We're improving.
Yeah, the first episode of the main course Rewind Rumble series, that was like a year and a half before we were even close to almost having it finished, and then we had a couple months delay because of the stuff I believe that happened earlier this year with the COVID delay and stuff like that. Everyone was all delayed because of that. But that was I think the first episode was coming out right around that time, and then we delayed it for a couple of months, if I'm not mistaken, right on the date window here.
Yeah, one of the biggest delays for Spyro vs. Toothless is setting up all the assets in terms of main course episodes, because that was the episode we had to have all the designs sketched out, all of them rendered out, and we even had to redesign the Rewind avatar, because I actually from the get-go was never a fan of all the muscles that the artist. Secondary Eminem is a super talented artist. This was they do some amazing work, but yeah, the buff Rewind was definitely not something I was a fan of, so we got rid of that for the updated design. But yeah, a big reason why that took so long is we had to cast totally new people. We had to flesh out these characters, and everyone did a great job on the writing and setting this all up, but it definitely did take extra time. And Rewind Rumble did start off with once every 2 weeks, but we kind of realized that if we want to do the best we can, we might have to delay a lot of these episodes. And I know recently they've been coming out about once a month, and that includes the Appetizer episodes, but again, we really don't want to rush these, and we hope you do enjoy them when they do come out.
It was a long process getting this whole new season 1 main course series, and the delays and whatnot, but it's coming all together. And we came up with a lot of these avatar characters. I know, Richard, you were involved with some of the stuff there. I came up with a Henry name.
Yes, you did. Yeah, no.
Red hair.
Really? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. These guys are right. We've been having. We know the wait may be long, but trust us. When we've got so much great stuff in the pipeline.
Definitely.
In terms of improvement, for my exam, I really give my improvement answer, but really just keeping up to date with everyone. Really, I mean, because we got everything really structured right now. We got all the everyone we know and everything we're talking about for the Rewind Rumbles and all that stuff like that. We pretty much have all that underway. It's just a matter of just keeping everyone up to date and just keeping it going. Really, just keep doing that. That's really all we can really do in terms of improvement.
Definitely. And this next question is a bit of a personal question, but I'm going to spin it a little bit for you guys so you can answer it on your own, but I'm going to read what they wrote out. It's from Hayrufield or Hayrufed. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize. And he asks, how did you first come up with the idea of Animation Rewind? And I'm going to pass that off to you as how did you guys come up with your channel names and concepts? But I'll answer mine really quick. It was 2011 when I first created the Animation Rewind YouTube channel. I was, I think, 13 years old. I might have been 12. I might have been 14. I don't know off the top of my head. But there's a costume in Little Big Planet called DJ Rewind, and that's kind of where the inspiration for the word Animation Rewind came together. And what got me interested in animation is in my school, we had to do a lot of school projects with Go Animate, which is why a lot of my first uploads are Go Animate school projects. Like, I think I have one on the Rockefellers and one about lithium, and they're still on my channel. Yeah. They're like Go Animate slideshows or whatever. But those two things combined is what got me interested into animating and creating the name Animation Rewind. So how'd you guys start up your YouTube channels?
Well, I just like to say first, now everyone's going to go see that, just so you know, AR.
Oh yeah. Prepare to cringe.
So for me, it's a long little tale, but I'll shorten it a little bit. Basically, in 2007, I created the channel, not for video making or anything like that, but just to comment on YouTube and stuff like that. And I probably was in 2007. I was definitely like a freshman in high school, or either freshman or sophomore. I don't remember the exact timeline, but then in 2010, that was 2010 was my senior year of high school. It was the middle of my senior year of high school, and that was like around January. That's when I decided to start making YouTube videos, and that was under the name of Gohan6425, because I already had a bunch of usernames with Goku in it, so I called myself Gohan on the YouTube channel back in 2007, because I had a Newgrounds account called Goku, and I had the Cartoon Network Orbit user account, which was Goku as well too. So that's why I called myself Gohan on YouTube. I didn't know at the time I was going to be making it as a YouTube channel, like in terms of making videos. Of course, 3 years later, I would. And so then I started using that for a while. And then eventually I went to Team Gohan Fighter. I believe that was like 5 years later or something, like it was like either 2014 or 2015. And then I recently just changed it a couple of years ago to the TheSSUltimateGoku. Just making more catchy name. Again, back when I started making YouTube videos, you couldn't change your username. So the username was already there still. Well, they didn't have like where you could just like change it to whatever now, like they do now. So that's basically kind of how the whole thing really started in terms of the name. So it's kind of more of a longer tail story than it is, but that's kind of like the short extent of it.
Mine was just, I pretty much just, I'm a Star Wars and Avatar fan, but I'm mostly a fan of everything. So my first channel, I went by Richard Kenobi, because again, I just like Star Wars. But then later on, I went by Richard Core Kenobi, and then my core channel got deleted falsely by YouTube, and it's kind of now dead. So second backup channel. Yeah, thank you. I chose Jedi Bender because I felt like that was a great way to kind of continue that and bring it over to what I do now. But now recently I've started rebranding, so now I go by a different name. So I'm kind of the man with many YouTube channel names, but that's much how I started YouTube. I've just wanted to do it. I've done it, and now here I am.
Hey, that's awesome. And and I'm so sorry. I remember on Twitter too when you got your channel deleted. I mean, man, YouTube. I won't say much about YouTube's policies because we're gonna be.
No, it's okay.
Meanwhile, we got a false community guidelines going.
Yeah, I mean these policies, man. It's really tough to because a lot of times you're not doing something wrong, and then they won't really tell you what you did wrong after they punish you for it, so you don't know how
exactly.
I don't know. It's that's a long story, but I'm glad you revived and you're doing better than ever. So, but I'm sorry they dinged you back then. But hey, you kept fighting, and look where you got. So you're doing pretty good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we got a question from Typical, and Typical asks, if you could have an idea for a first episode other than Dark Sonic versus Goku Black, what would that be? Who wants to answer this one first? Like a matchup, if you were to start a new series, what would that matchup be?
Goku versus Superman, plain and simple.
Oh boy. Speechless on that one.
Wow, just digging in, just like you just brought out those can of worms.
Yeah.
Oh, no other reason beyond that. You just want to do it.
Because it's the fight that everyone talks about, and it's still talked about to this day and still wrong by another channel. We were successful with the ones with Cartoon Fight Club, and definitely think it could be even more successful on Rewind Rumble for sure if we'd started it up that way. But nonetheless, that was why.
Oh man, if I were to start a series, oh man, that is that's a hard one because there's so many there's just so many matchups I want to see. But I guess if I really had to pick one, like just off the top of my head, I would probably want to see, like, of course, I would probably have this be a live action fight, and I think I could get in contact with the right people. But I would want to see Tommy the Tommy the Green Ranger fight Leonardo the Ninja Turtle, because I feel like that's a great fight, and that's kind of a throwback to my childhood, because I grew up with Power Rangers and then I grew up with Ninja Turtles, and I feel like, okay, it's just like, and even the studio that puts out Power Rangers and Turtle stuff, they've even acknowledged it too, because they've had crossovers with them, and you see tons of requested fights involving Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, because that just makes sense to put those two groups together.
Yeah, and that would definitely be awesome for live action, especially since that's a fight that involves a lot of close range combat and hand-to-hand work. And yeah, that would be a really good option. If I had to pick one, obviously Wario vs. Knuckles was not supposed to be the first episode, and Cartoon Fight Club's origin story was more of a happy accident than something that was planned. Mordecai and Rigby vs. Finn and Jake was actually supposed to be episode 1, but it got swapped. But that's a different question. To answer this question, if I were to make a third series for whatever reason, and like a legitimate versus series, I would actually really want to do Michael Bay Optimus Prime versus MonsterVerse King Kong. Not that there's any good like connections between the two, I just think it'd be a really cool fight, and a rather close one too. I mean, because obviously physically, King Kong could probably rip Michael Bay Optimus Prime in half, but Bay vs. Optimus Prime has a lot of good range attacks, and obviously if we include his jet capabilities, it could be for a real interesting battle where, I mean, I'm a total Transformers fanboy, so
yeah,
I might, off the top of my head, root for Optimus to win, but I haven't done a lot of research into really picking a winner off that one, but I just think that'd be a really cool matchup to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would be fine with either one winning, but I would be more inclined to go with King Kong, because he may Optimus may have all these range attacks and the mobility, and definitely he's a great fighter in the Bay universe, but King Kong, man, what he's doing to Godzilla,
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if Optimus can handle that.
Yeah, like Optimus in the Bayverse has been seen to be wounded by like even human pistol bullets, so I definitely agree it would be really close and really tough. And it's only really close due to his range attacks and his flight capabilities. Without that, like if we use just the first movie, it would be a stomp.
I'm surprised you wouldn't want to put the cartoon version of Optimus Prime.
Well, I mean, then it wouldn't be fair. I mean,
no, yeah, I mean the cartoon version is kind of he's kind of a god at this point. He can.
Yeah, it depends on the cartoon. I mean, Transformers animated,
there's different ones. Like
Transformers Prime, if he scales to Megatron, I mean, I think he'd be close to mountain level, since Megatron survived space bridge explosion at its epicenter. So, and he one-shotted a Unicron. I don't know if it was a hollow rock, but if that thing was solid, I don't know. What
about Armada? Armada would be another one, because that one might be a closer one.
Oh yeah,
Armada.
Definitely.
Armada.
It wouldn't be fair if we used the cartoons, to make a long story short. The Bayverse is definitely to go up against MonsterVerse King Kong. But if we want to move on to a next question, I think that now would be a good time. All right, we have a question from DillDev03. I hope I pronounced that right. If there was a character you would ban from Rewind Rumble, who would it be other than Sans? And before we answer that, I would like to answer why Sans is banned other than Sans.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why we created Rewind Rumble is so we could separate the memes from the serious characters. So you know, if we're gonna do a Sans battle or like a meme fight or even like an indie game fight like Five Nights at Freddy's, we would prefer that to be on Cartoon Fight Club. So that's one of the reasons why Sans is banned. But I did want to reserve the all-time greatest Sans matchup, which is Sans versus the Judge, and that's actually one of the greatest one-on-one Rewind Rumbles. And that actually, like I said, which one's my favorite episode? Depending on the day, I might choose that as my favorite because that's a really good one. But is there a character that you guys think is just not Rewind Rumble material and is more of like maybe a meme character? If you guys want to answer that one.
Your series, Bobo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on! I like
I don't know why he's in there. Well, no, I mean the franchise should be in there, not just Bobo, because it's like he feels like kind of more of a. He kind of feels more like a Sans, goofy type character that probably just doesn't fit like the serious tone of Rewind Rumble. Like when we did wasn't that the fight that you had me voice Vegeta, and that was wasn't that a Rewind Rumble?
Yeah, that was Don Patch versus Vegeta. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Rewind. I don't know if that necessarily should have been a Rewind Rumble when I watched it. But yeah, I mean,
that's kind of where I'd have to say in terms of ban. I don't think necessarily any character should be banned, as long as the fight itself, kind of fits. Because I mean, Rewind Rumble is kind of more for the serious tones of characters, but also having like serious considerational matchups that make sense. And that's why, like you said about Sans, like the one matchup that actually makes sense. But all these other matches that we like kind of put out on Cartoon Fight Club, it's like, they really necessarily shouldn't have been done on a Rewind Rumble because like it wouldn't make sense to put them all on there. We were putting them out mostly because a lot of people wanted to watch Sans.
Yeah, Sans versus Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, so I mean that's why if we want to do more Sans fights, that's really more for a Cartoon Fight Club thing. Because most of Cartoon Fight Club is memes now. We still occasionally will have some, regular, characters in there too. For some of the newer animators coming up. But it's mostly like that stuff is mostly on Cartoon Fight Club, and leaving Sans out of there makes sense. And that's really how you have to keep the standards for probably mostly all the other characters in terms of which one's there. But that would be kind of my answer for that. But really it just comes down to it. Just as long as it's a proper matchup, that's one you should do. But try to balance it to not have them just be kind of jokey type characters, because then it just kind of ruins the tone of what Rewind Rumble's going for. Rewind Rumble's more of a serious research tone show compared to like a Cartoon Fight Club atmosphere show currently. It's Cartoon Fight Club kind of turned into that with Rewind Rumble as creation. So that's why I have to really say for that in terms of that type of direction.
Definitely. Jedi Thunder, is there a character you would not think would fit this series?
Oh man, SS Ultimate Goku is gonna hate me for this. I would have to say Goku.
No!
Goku. No, specifically Super Goku. I feel like this mainly comes from the manga, so but it's kind of. Yeah, it's kind of becoming a meme at this point that Goku in Super is just getting power up after power up, technique after technique, and he's always thrust, and he's always he's pretty much the status quo, the formula is just bad guy shows up, it's bad guy is stronger than Goku, Goku gets stronger, Goku gets a new technique or form, and then he uses that to beat the bad guy. I feel, and plus that's just more crazy scaling at this point, because trying to scale Goku now is just getting out of control. So I really feel like, okay, Super Goku is just becoming a meme at this point, and I feel like it's kind of hard to take him seriously, and it's very hard to find a reasonable opponent to go up against him. And that's why we've kind of we've kind of just been using we used a different version of Goku. We used Zeno Goku, who was supposed to be, you know, the most broken Goku, but we put him up against the most broken version of Sonic. So I feel like that makes sense. But Super Goku as an entity, he's just getting too ridiculous, and I just don't feel like he can be taken seriously in a Rewind Rumble, and trying to find an opponent that just has so many of these same traits as Super Goku, it's few and far between.
Well, I'm disappointed with that. But first of all, no. In terms of the manga stuff, because the manga stuff is, unless you're reading the manga currently, most of the stuff is different compared to what they did at the end of Dragon Ball Super. The anime part of where they left off. Basically, if we ever revisit Goku again, it would probably be something that takes place at the end of where the anime left off, not necessarily where the manga is currently at. But it's just like they're all different versions. There's all different different versions, different timelines of where Goku's at. And there's even that Heroes one now too, as you mentioned, the Xeno Goku, which he is kind of broken. I mean, some of his feats, they're crazy, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of weird. Compared to, I thought he would be much stronger than I thought he was when I watched some of that stuff. In terms of Goku, Goku's just got to be the right matchup. I mean, always, like, when we bring Goku back or Goku Black or any of that stuff, it's usually the right matchup. And I think Goku will be back in the future, but I can't say for certain who. It would be probably the end of it would be specific timelines if we brought Goku back for Rewind Rumble. It would be like end of Dragon Ball Super anime, or end of GT, or like end of Z or something like that. That's kind of usually how we balance out, because again, we don't composite characters to begin with anyway. So, we kind of, pick the specific line of where we want to go. And so if we were going to do that, it would be end of the anime Dragon Ball Super right now, until of course they decide to make the anime again for the manga, which is currently still going on right now, and whenever they decide to report that, because it's been a couple years now when they bring that back.
And speaking of Goku, we got one final question from the legendary Creep Switch himself. He asks, will Goku Drip be in Rewind Rumble? And for those who don't know, Goku Drip is Goku wearing some drip. Will he be in Rewind Rumble? I do not want to answer that, but if you guys want to give your opinions on that, let me know.
No.
Should he be in Rewind Rumble? No, but I would definitely love to see Goku Drip in Cartoon Fight Club. I feel like that would be more appropriate, and it's just like, I'm not against it. Like, I love the whole Goku Drip thing, and I think it would definitely be great to have him.
Great meme fight. I wonder who would be a good meme opponent for him.
Yeah, it would be a cartoon. If we had Goku Drip in something, which it would probably be a Cartoon Fight Club, because again, it's a meme and stuff like that. Who would be a good fight for it? If we want to be serious about this, it's over 9,000. Oh
yeah, maybe. I was thinking Goku Drip versus the handsome Superman meme. You know that?
Yeah.
That one scene in that Batman and Superman movie where he has like that cleft chin. You guys know that meme, right?
I do know that meme. Yeah. Another one I was thinking is probably just have a Goku versus Goku, like have Slick Goku versus Goku Drip. Like, I don't know if you know of Slick Goku. He's basically a Goku who's kind of a gangster, and he wears shades, like Deal With It shades, and he's actually appeared on Devil Artemis's channel plenty of times.
And it would be less salty too, because it's not a Goku versus Superman matchup.
You can make it
it's a Goku versus Goku matchup.
Yeah.
You can make it Assault.
Maybe. Salt Assault, it's kind of in hiatus. I mean, maybe I'll bring it back, but Salt Assault, I think, ran its course. It was funny when it came out, but it's a one-trick pony,
Yeah.
I liked it. It was
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, it was good for what it was, but I just think after a while it got predictable. But I mean, it's never fully like out of production. Like I would just say it's on super long hiatus. Like if I ever feel like reviving it, I wouldn't. I mean, I would be open to considering it, but you know, salt to salt, I think it was good for what it was, but it would depend on the match. If I ever would want to do it again. But,
Absolutely.
so I think we had some great questions, and we're going to always keep asking questions for future podcast episodes, so look out for those future community posts. And we're still working out the kinks on this podcast on how we want to do it in terms of like upload schedule and topic type. So we appreciate all of your guys' patience, all the viewers, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave it down in the comments on how you want to see this podcast be organized. We appreciate all of you for sticking with us, and I definitely owe a huge thanks to Jedi Bender and the TheSSUltimateGoku for coming on for this second episode. If you guys have some closing remarks, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, I guess I'll go. I was just happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and it was great talking to y'all. And I can't wait for you to see what we've got again. Not to sound like a broken record, but I enjoyed the season finale of Rewind Rumble Season 2 because, again, I've worked very hard on it. I know the animation team are going to work very hard on it. We all worked very hard on it, and it was and it is a Total War that we've been wanting to do for a very, very long time, and I'm so happy that we did it, and I cannot wait to see what you guys think and what your response to it will be.
Yeah, I can't wait for that too. I also can't wait for, like I said, the fight that I'm like pretty much hands-on on. That's going to be coming out in the main course series very soon. Midway through the series. That one's going to be really good. I am very stoked for that one. Like I said, I pointed out in the middle of the episode, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this with you, AR, this podcast thing, as well as other future things that we do for discussing these future episodes and questions and past stuff like that and whatnot about the series and series. Very, very excited. Very excited what's coming up very soon for the Cartoon Fight Club, the Rewind Rumble, the regular Rewind Rumble, and then of course the main course. Because again, the regular Rewind Rumbles are still very important because they're researched as well. I mean, they don't have the avatar stuff, but they get a lot of research as well, and they're a lot of the stuff, you know, where me and AR and other people are coming up with too that are going to come out, and they're going to be really good ones too for animations and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that, especially a couple ones that are in production for the regular Rewind Rumble series as well. Maybe even future co-hostings for those regular Rewind Rumbles or Cartoon Fight Clubs as well. I'm very excited about the stuff that's coming up.
Most definitely. We got a whole lot in store. We can't wait to show you more. This has been the Rumblecast. I'm Animation Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.